welcome back to the Evolving Warfighter. My name is Dr. Franklin Annis. If you're watching this video, it means I made it to the 10-mile march of a grueling 80-mile march that I'm trying to do to raise awareness for HorseBack UK. Now, as I ponder the fact that I have at least 24 hours of marching still ahead of me, I'll let Jock explain how his love for an American-style horsemanship influenced the creation of his charity.
Most of the people that we hosted here at the beginning 12 years ago were people who had experienced a loss of lower limb. And I've always been I was schooled in North Carolina, and I've been horse crazy since I was a little boy. I mean, horse nuts. But I really didn't ever enjoy jodhpurs or the English way of riding horses, if I'm being perfectly honest. My hero was a guy called Ben Johnson. When I was a little boy, I used to watch, Ben Johnson was in every single movie you've seen John Wayne in. And he was the horseman. So he's in the Searchers, he's in all the, I was looking at the guys on the horses going, wow, that is how I want to ride a horse. And so when I got to North Carolina at 17, I met some people who worked with working horses, and the whole relationship they had was very different to the one I saw, the relationship with horses over here. It was more like sheepdog and shepherd than rider and horse. Because if you're cutting cows or roping, you really have to have, it needs to be teamwork. Total teamwork. And if the horse isn't 100% with you, you're not going to be with the horse 100%, which is going to hurt. So I was fascinated by all that. And so when we moved to the farm after the business, I wanted to cross thoroughbreds with quarter horses, and I had a guy, blah blah blah, and it looked highly probable. And it was then that I met the 16. And the reason I invited them up was A, because I saw the need, but B, somebody said, the farm would be a great place to get the guys out of the camp. Got the guys to the camp, and then began to think, well, these little horses, the way we ride them, you don't really need 2 arms and 2 legs. They're very maneuverable. You neck rein rather than hold on to 2 reins. And we called it mobility with dignity. So what I saw was the ability, what I said to people was the thing that would upset me most about losing my legs is not being able to get the hell away from the rest of you. So the idea of giving somebody this mobility, the freedom to go and wander the hills was at the heart. But we learned very quickly that whilst that was potent, it was actually the relationship and building the relationship between the individual and the horse that had the profound effect. Because most of the guys that came here had never been near a horse. And of course, a horse weighs 3/4 of a ton, is a big, hairy son of a gun. And, if you don't understand them, they can be a bit intimidating. So the first thing the individual, they had to overcome that kind of nervousness to interact. And then they had to work out how to connect with the horse. Now, this is where our friends the Stoics come in. There's a man called Xenophon who is recognized as being the first true horseman. And he said it was much better to make a horse than break it. And it was about kindness and patience in creating the relationship. So I didn't know this at the time, I have to say. But we developed courses that were about how the horse and the individual could interact, allowing the human being to become the leader, but a good leader, an empathetic leader, who understood the horse and understood that each horse was different and it needed different amounts of energy. And this is where we ended up. The power of creating that relationship. I mean, if you consider isolation being one of the issues so this connection that was formed between the horse and the individual was massively powerful. And the fact that the human had to be a leader, but benign leader, meant that they had to look at themselves. And this is the essence of all leadership, as far as I'm concerned. Above Delphi in Greece, there are only 2 things that are written. And the first is know thyself. And if you're working a horse, you're going to have to adapt to the horse, not insist the horse adapts you, because the horse is by nature a nervous critter. If you add pressure to him, he's going to get stressed. Nobody learns anything stressed. So the secret of horsemanship is to get the horse's head right and trust you and being able to focus on you. And in doing so, you learn a great deal about yourself. And, what we wanted to provide our attendees was the mental belief that they were leaders again in their own worlds, could steer their own ship. And the process was about confidence and rebuilding it, but also about connecting to 10 other people who were in a similar place and giving them a sense of community through that. And then from each group, we encouraged everybody to become either ambassadors or mentors. The mentors would attend the next course or a course down the line and act as mentors. And it's all residential, so the guys and girls eat together and socialize together. Non-alcohol, no drugs, but it's about bringing people together. So we've been doing that for 10 years. 5 years ago, we started doing programs for kids, and again, confidence and about trying to help kids that were excluded from the educational process or self-excluded, but give them the confidence to re-engage with it. And since then, so we've helped over 2,500 people over the last decade. The great thing about the kids is we use military mentors to teach. So we've got this bridge, creating purpose for the military community and really having a profoundly positive effect on the kids, because many of the kids that come here, and I've got to try to word this politely, but when they walk through the gate and say, well, I've got OCD, PCD, and I just look at them and go, kid, thank God I wasn't born when you were, because I'd have more labels than a Tesco superstore, mate. I'm glad you don't have any goddamn, you've got the labels. Let's see how we use these things and this energy that you have rather than be fearful of them. Because I think in society now, we're very quick to label and then pop pills at people. Well, that might mask the symptoms for a while, but it doesn't cure anything. The only way you're going to help people mentally is to get them to know themselves and start to work towards a destination with other people.
For live updates on my progress through this grueling march, I encourage you to hop over to Twitter. You can find me at Evolving War. Any comments that you leave for me there will provide me great motivation. But what would provide even greater motivation is you providing a donation, whether it's large or small, to HorseBack UK, so they can continue to grow their wonderful program. You can make a donation through the website displayed on screen or in the description block below this video. For the American audience, you can also donate through Facebook. Thank you, and I'll head down the trail, and I'll see you soon.